Okay. I'm not entirely sure what is happening. We are having all the fun, and it's just loads of changes. I am learning as I go. I am joined by my friend, my bestie, the one who actually protects me sometimes from myself and my zany opinions, and I do the same for her. But this is my friend Lori Dorsey. Y'all have seen her before. We have roamed the globe, and tonight she has come with me because I'm so excited. In case y'all can't tell, I have made changes. I am no longer with KUNX Digital Broadcasting, and there's a good reason for that, but we won't go into it. I am just so thrilled to be here with you tonight. And, you know, I'm not quite the producer that Race is, but I will be. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Lori, I'm so glad you're here because, when we were talking about all the different things about Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, I'm really, really, I'm wearing my glasses because I can't see you.
Yeah,
If
I
I
know. I'm
don't,
about ready to put mine on.
I know, right? Vanity be damned. We're going to do this.
Yeah. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, just a couple of little old ladies having a gossip about paranormal stuff.
Yay.
One of the things that I really am excited about, I started going to the bash. Oh my gosh, I don't even remember when it was, and I'm so really thrilled to be going back. I don't think I've been since I broke my knee,
Oh.
and that's been 5 years or
Mm-hmm.
more. And one of the things that I cherish about it is that the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash is not just a bunch of really fantastic talent from various shows, groups, authors. It's people who are diligent researchers. It's people who they've come to pretty much volunteer their time to do this. Everybody participates in the fundraising for Kids with Cancer, Wounded Warriors of Pennsylvania, and whoever is being taken care of by this charity, I by this organization, and they have really done such a good job every year. They have moved over this year. It's been at the Wyndham since its inception. This year they have moved, and it is at the Eisenhower Hotel and Convention Center at Eisenhower Aspire. Eisenhower is the oldest part of the building. Aspire is a new hotel that's been added to this center. And I'm going to tell you, when I was talking with Pamela Berry, who is with Stephen, you know, the creative genius behind this, plus all her hundreds now, I'm sure, of volunteers, I was trying to figure out, how many magazines am I going to bring? What do I need to have to give to people? I'm not sure how big this has grown. And she was like, "You're going to be amazed." And I was like, "Hundreds?" She said, "Oh, yeah." I mean, yeah.
Wow.
So I wish that I had gotten in touch with her before to be able to participate in some way other than just promoting it and being so excited to be there. But I will take what I can get because I'm so enthused. I think it's going to be a great time. And I I do not have any of my stuff because all of a sudden I am just like, well, I didn't really want to have any of my notes to talk about this with, so my computer is not playing nicely with me, but that's okay.
Now, are you going to have a table?
I
Oh,
am.
oh, okay.
Yes, I'm going to have a table. I'm going to have I packed so many magazines. David has shipped them up for me. Um, and there's other goodies too, but I'm just really I'm just excited to be there.
Mhm.
Some of the people that I've met up there, Bob Christopher and Gina Bingston are some of my favorite New Englanders that I'm going to get to see and spend time with again. They are Bob Christopher. I have to tell you, when I started doing paranormal experience, and you'll appreciate this because you have to listen to me when things go awry sometimes, right?
Yes.
But back in the day, he and the guy that he worked with, and I'm not going to name names because he is my friend too, but he kind of just didn't show up. And so I came on and I am doing my show, and I wasn't my own producer. I had somebody doing my show. And so I'm sitting there and I'm talking to the wind, and I've got a message from Bob Christopher. He said, "Where is so and so?" And I'm like, "Well, he got a little nervous." I guess I don't know, but he's not here. And do you know that he called in and was doing the show with me? I mean, he came on, seat of his
Oh,
pants,
yeah.
um, seriously stayed with me for the full show.
Wow.
And it was really, really a very generous thing to do.
No.
So when I got to Gettysburg and he was there, I was just like, I'm Kat. And you're my hero. And I do get enthusiastic. I
Yes,
do.
you do.
And but when somebody is that nice to you, how can you not be enthused?
Right.
It's just but that is the kind of human that goes and does this event. You know, there's some guy that got a hate on for the people that do this years ago. He's a nut. And every so often, you'll run across something else that's just a jerk thing that he's doing. He's
Mhm.
pretty good at it, actually.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, you're an idiot because you don't even know what this event is about. Everyone in the paranormal supports this event. They have done it for years and years and years. And it's ethical, it's above board. Nobody, I mean, you know how this field is.
Oh,
If
yeah.
there is any word that or any inkling that something is not right,
Mhm.
people are gone.
Mhm.
You know, we are the quickest to call ourselves out because when when we do this, oh, I have an arm rest up, sorry. I went to look for it. It's like, ah. But, when somebody is scamming and we know that they're there,
Oh, yeah.
um, we call out our own because it's hard enough to have credibility
Mhm.
when you're doing something that half of the world has a problem with,
Mhm.
for religion reasons or it scares them
Yeah.
or, ooh, you can't possibly, you
Yes.
know,
Oh, yeah.
um, and I will call somebody out in a heartbeat, but I also promote the people.
Mhm.
And you, in your quest through this over the years, you've been to events
Yes.
and you were at an event in Vegas in Vegas,
In Vegas.
Vegas. But yeah, right.
Yeah.
But anyway, you were at the one that people got, not the guests. The guests had a great experience.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure that the organizer who took all that lovely money and went home with it had a great time.
Mhm.
But the talent,
Yeah.
and I hate using the word talent, but that's what they are when they are being booked to be paid for these things. They got
Yeah.
thrown in the river, all
Oh,
of
yeah. All of
from
them.
what I could tell.
Yeah.
Are you
I
aware of anybody
anybody
that actually
paid.
walked away with their money?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure no one, none of the talent got paid at all
Yeah.
that I'm
And
aware
he
of.
had some good names. That was a good con.
Yeah, it really
Well, it
was.
was a good con for the guy that conned everybody.
Well, yeah.
And it was a good con for the people that came in,
Mhm.
but it was a bad con for the people that put their time and effort to be there and
Yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah. I mean, they had plenty of table spaces, and they had, it was set up, but it was one of those things where um, I went to the concierge, and he didn't even know where it was going to be at, and so that sent up red flags big time. And
Right.
it was like, okay, so we don't know where it's at. Well, it's in the convention center, but we don't know where it's at.
Well, that made it easy.
Yeah,
A Vegas convention center, and just have fun with that.
yeah. And it was a big convention center.
Yeah,
Huge,
that is.
huge.
It was at
Ooh,
the MGM, wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. It was something. But yeah, I mean, well, it was Rick. He was talking to me and wanting to know where he was supposed to set up at,
Right.
and he kept saying, "Go talk to the concierge." And finally, I did, and I called Rick back. I said, "The concierge doesn't even know where it's at." He goes, "Oh, that's not a good sign."
No.
So yeah, it. I had a great time, but
Well, everybody that was there as an attendee had a great time, and
oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure. I mean, because it was a Para Unity conference
yeah,
of all things. So,
yeah,
but the talent, everybody I spoke with had fun until it was time to get their check and go home.
and there was
And
no.
then a friend of ours who's an agent of sorts, um, booking agent, did not have such a good evening
Mm-hmm,
because, and she reps some great people,
mm-hmm,
but they expected to be paid, and she was left hanging because,
mm-hmm.
you know,
It wasn't
because
her
she got,
fault.
yeah, I mean, it was horrible.
Yeah, it was not a good situation in the end, because the agent got screwed. Everybody got screwed, pretty much. Like I said, the ticket holders, the talent showed up. I mean, the
They
talent,
did.
you know, they were there just like they were supposed to be. And
Yeah. And did what they were supposed to do.
yep, they did. And I admired all of them for that, because then I found out later down the road that the guy didn't have the money to pay him.
Nope. But
And,
the bad part was they didn't know it until after.
mm-hmm, till it was
As
done.
everyone was leaving, the
Yeah,
dude was gone with the cash.
yeah, oh yeah. And he even upped the ticket prices if you wanted to get in. If you didn't have a ticket ahead of time, he upped the prices. And they kept saying, lower the prices so you get people in here, so you get bodies in here and get some money, make some money in here. And
Right.
he didn't.
Well, he
I
had a plan.
I guess so, because he was hightailing it out of there. And the talent, they didn't stay for the whole time, because they knew they weren't going to get paid. So when it slowed down, they all packed up and left.
Right.
So it was sad. It was aggravating. It
And
was.
it was such a great, I mean, the concept of that.
Hmm.
Um, we
Yeah.
know a lot of people that give lip service, right, to
Oh
Pure
yeah.
Unity
Oh yeah.
and to being ethical in the
Yeah.
field,
Yeah.
and who aren't.
Yeah. And
Um,
I mean, there were some big names, like Josh Gates was there,
yeah,
Brad and Barry Kling, Rick was there, Amy and Adam,
yeah,
uh, John Zaffis was there. Um, I mean, there was some really big names. The Ghost Brothers were there. I mean, they had some. Now, some of the other big names found out, they got wind that they were going to get paid, and they didn't come in, which I can't blame them. I wouldn't have flown
right.
into Vegas either for that. But you know,
How did
Rick,
they get wind they weren't going to get paid?
I'm not sure. I I don't know. I don't know how. All I know is there was. oh, I can't think of who it was. There was a couple people that were supposed to be there. Some a group, couple groups of people that were supposed to be there, and they didn't show up because they got wind that that there wasn't going to be any money. So
I wonder how they ascertained that.
I don't know. I never asked. I was kind of getting Rick's stuff taken care
Well, that's one of the things that, to me, that's suspicious. I'm sorry. I can't imagine
mm-hmm,
how they would not know.
mm-hmm. And
But
well, Rick had a pretty good idea that they it wasn't going to happen. He said that if you're relying on ticket sales, he said you're not going to make any money. He said you've got to have upfront money to set all this up to pay everybody, and then the ticket sales is just the icing on the cake. So,
but the ticket sales are supposed to pay for everything.
mm-hmm,
They are supposed to, you're supposed to have enough money to get the venue booked and get the setup taken care of, the advertising and stuff like that, and
mm-hmm,
then your ticket sales cover all of that plus your money,
right, and
you
it did,
know, plus whatever income you're going to have.
yeah,
So, and that includes paying your talent before you pay yourself.
mm-hmm, oh yeah,
And that's where the ethics come into play. I mean, it's just stupid that
mm-hmm, oh yeah,
him,
and even water. They didn't even have water for the talent. I was running around getting water for
I
everybody.
remember that. I remember you telling me that.
That was it was crazy, crazy, crazy.
Well, so we're going to talk about a good one.
Yes.
And, I am really, I'm so impressed. The first time I came up here, a lot of my friends participate in this event. Krista Segere, the ghost boy from Geneseo.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. He is there.
Oh okay.
Um, you know, I mean, um, and I'm going to tell everybody that my Facebook has gone down with my notes as well. So I'm flying blind on this. Lori has her Facebook up. So she's going to be able to feed me some things hopefully coming up through here. But mine is just locked up.
Well,
But
on the phone, we'll see.
yeah. We'll see if you'll feed me names or not, right?
Yeah.
But I know that my friend Santiago Cirillo is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you, Santi is an actor, and he is a fine actor. A lot of people know him from Walking Dead and
Mm.
things like that, but he is one of the kindest people. And anytime we run into each other, it's just like, CJ, come on, and I have a lot of fun with him because he is one of, like I said, one of the nicest people. And he has a big heart. Everybody who participates in this does.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I I'm really just so excited to get to be here and to get to see everybody and have the conversations. And there's just a special experience. One of the things that I did notice this time is that we thought that we thought I was going to have to drive, okay,
Oh, right.
because everything has exploded as far as US air travel. And not that we have any experience with that, we'll talk about that too. But same airline. It's the same airline.
Oh yes.
But anyway, so I have no idea if I'm going to be there on time. I have no idea what's going to happen. I am supposed to have a plane going over my house in about 15 minutes. We'll see if y'all hear that or not. But it's so funny because I'm booked. They've taken the money. I've got my boarding passes and I'm heading out in the morning, and which is why this is going to be a short show. But anyway, so you know, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I don't know what, I'm just going to drive. I'm just going to, because Delta was going to let me cancel for no fees
Oh,
as long as
mm-hmm.
and they just wanted me to rebook
Oh,
in, yeah, by August. And I'm like, I'm not going anywhere.
I was gonna say,
This is your one shot, Delta. And
yeah,
trust me, it may be your last shot. But, so my husband was so excited because he had clicked, um, are there casinos around Gettysburg? Well, let me tell you, there is like, I can't remember if he said 20 something or 50. I think he said 53
wow,
casinos within like 30 minutes to an hour of Gettysburg.
wow.
And one of them has 50 tables in their poker room. And for those that don't know, my husband's like, you know, screen names and all this other stuff is
Hmm.
Poker Dave.
Yeah,
So Poker Dave was feeling the joy.
I'm sure.
And so then our dog sitter couldn't be here. She is working this weekend, so he's not going to get to go with me. So I'm
Bummer.
flying unless he has to come get me from Atlanta. But because there's no rental cars in Atlanta,
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
not one rental car available at the airport. And you know how big that rental business is at Atlanta Hartsfield. So
Yes.
hopefully everybody, because if we go anywhere from Birmingham, whether heaven or hell, we're going through Atlanta. My
Yeah. Oh yeah.
grandmother
Oh
always
yeah.
said that,
Oh yeah.
and she was right. So we'll see. We'll see. I may be late, but I'll be there
You'll
sometime.
be
Yeah,
there. I have
somehow.
faith. Yes, I have faith. You'll be there.
We got home, didn't we? Do you want to tell people about that?
Well, that was the trip was spectacular.
Magnificent.
It was. It was the best trip to Scotland compared to 2 years ago with that horrible
Well,
tour.
I'm going to put it out there because, I have been so careful to not say who that was that left us stranded.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, we got left stranded. We
Oh
were
yeah.
not able to do any nighttime travel past like 5 o'clock. We had to be 5 or 6. We had to be back at wherever we were because we were too cheap to pay from our fees that we paid to have a driver to take us somewhere in the evening on a paranormal tour.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Paranormal tour. We
Yeah.
were there to investigate and see haunted places
Right.
during the day,
Yeah.
during the day only,
Well,
from 9 to 5.
the thing that got me was if she said it once, she said it 100 times. Just hang around, get your equipment out, and do your own investigation. So you can't do that.
Well, in the time frame,
No.
do it during the day. And not only can you not do that, period, because people aren't going to really let you,
Yeah.
although Scotland does have right to roam, but
Yes.
that's in private locations.
Yeah.
If you're at a public location that charges for stuff,
Yeah.
no, you can't do that.
No.
So we were at Stirling Castle. They didn't even know we were coming.
Yeah.
There
That,
was no pre booked things. Same thing when we got to Edinburgh Castle.
yeah.
Edinburgh was totally unprepared for this woman.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
Everywhere was totally unprepared for this woman. If it
Well,
weren't for Rick McCollum, we would never have gotten to investigate the castle that we were supposed to be staying in
yeah.
that caught fire 2 years before,
Yeah.
that she had never verified our reservation. So we were staying
Until
in a lodge when we
until
got
what,
there.
2 hours? Two
Not
hours before we
not the
were supposed
castle,
to be there?
not the castle,
Yeah.
but it was the
Well,
most jacked up tour to have been so much fun.
yeah.
And it was the people
Yeah.
that made it fun. You
That's the
know,
only thing, that was the only saving grace, was the people.
it really was.
But
And
this tour was off the chain.
magnificent.
I mean, it was
Yes.
completely off the chain. It was, in fact, I have done so much paranormal investigating that I'm okay if I don't do any for the rest of the year.
Oh, no, that's not going to happen.
I know, but I'm just
So you have research to do. It's September 11th.
oh, I know. I've got to go up to Shelley's on the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Yeah.
So it'll. I think it's going to be our last one we're going to do.
Well, I had actually been talking to David about that, and I was going to talk to Shelly and see if she cared if I came up for that.
Oh, I'm
So,
sure she wouldn't care.
because, with my thermal and with some of the other equipment that I've got now,
Hmm.
I would really like to see
Yeah,
if we could document
yeah.
people coming and going.
Oh, yeah.
Digitally document that.
Well, she's also going to see if she can find through historic records where the train station was in Paulding, and then we're going to go over there and see if we can get any communication.
Should probably have two locations set up.
Yeah, to
Somebody
see.
be at the jail, and then
Hmm.
somebody's
Yeah.
going to where that location is.
Hmm. And
And
see if we can get answers, or if we can, if we say something at the jail, see if it'll answer at the site or vice versa. You
that's
know,
brilliant.
but I know she said she's got to look for that where the train station was. But the crazy part is she found, and she sent it to me, an old railway ticket, like an original railway ticket, and it had the train, the number that it
Mhm.
was on, and it was the same number that came across the portal box.
Get out.
No, I'm not. I couldn't believe it. I was in Vegas at the time with my two of my girlfriends, and she says, I know you're on vacation. I know you're doing something,
No,
but
that's worthy.
you have got to see this. And I pulled it up and I went, oh my gosh, it's the same number. We heard the sheriff say he was on what train he was on. It was the
Yes.
same number. Couldn't believe it.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm off on topic. Sorry.
That's okay. No, I mean, this pure normal chat. It's all good.
Yeah. And
And I'm sorry, you can never go wrong talking about the old Paulding jail when you're
well, that's
talking about the paranormal.
yeah.
I am so flabbergasted by the activity that happens there. If I lived any closer, she'd never get me out. She wouldn't.
She's
I
been
mean,
there.
it's a 9-hour drive, and the world has been crazy here lately.
Mm-hmm. That's
So
true.
David's leery of me driving by myself for that far.
Yeah. Well, it's
And
like I said, it's only what, hour and 20 minutes, 40 minutes, something
yeah,
like that for me. So it's not that far. But yeah, this Shelley said this will probably be the wrap up of
yeah.
the investigation after we figured got a lot of questions answered, and Christopher's supposed to be coming too.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, so we can actually have direct, just not the portal,
Right.
Plus, I also run the necrophonic, and I don't know, we just,
Yeah.
we get all the toys out on the
Well, it's
investigation.
worthy.
Yeah. But the thing of it is, every year we've been doing it, I think this last 5 years,
Hmm.
and on September 11th, there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Every Only the kids, and there's one um, school marm
Hmm.
is there and watches the kids, and they come down and they play every year with my
Yeah.
grandpa. They come down and we play music and they just dance. You could tell they're dancing because the lights are going to the
Yes.
beat of the music. And then she gets them to bed. She'll say, they got to go to bed. So they go upstairs, and then it's quiet all the way through September 11th, and then about 15 minutes after 12, considered like the next day,
Right.
you can hear them coming back. And last year, I think it was last year, Shelly was saying, okay, what train number? And she was writing them down, because
Right.
they would tell us what train number they were on. And we've been verifying it. They said they went One of them went out South Bend, and there is a train station
I
in South
remember
Bend.
that.
And it was like, oh my gosh, we were asking the wrong questions. We know what questions to ask now.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's it's pretty remarkable. But
it's
getting
totally
back to
remarkable.
Scotland, getting
Well,
back to Scotland, this last trip that you and me and Mikey, Julie, and Rick was on was
yeah.
off the chain. I mean, seriously, and all the paranormal teams we got to meet and
Oh my
investigate
gosh.
with, and
And they just love it was people who love the paranormal. And
oh yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. I mean, the Highland Paranormal and the Haunted Scotland, Greg and Ryan and on Haunted Scotland guys, and I mean Balgony Castle. The
Uh
it was that was off the chain, insane. And
yes.
then Jay Craig, he was amazing. He was such a very
He's a
good.
mensch.
Yeah,
He is
I
just a
mean he's
mensch. He is so wonderful.
yeah,
All of them
and he
are.
let us. Yeah, and he let us go into the Writers Museum, and they never let anybody go in there,
First time.
and we
But
got
we
to
had a lot
yeah,
of first investigations.
yes
First
we
time that
did,
they've been investigated. But that
and
one was cool.
you got you got
I
affected
got
by
bashed in the
the one
brain.
at
I
yeah,
That's
because
what's so funny
you
is
turned around and looked at you.
yeah,
Yeah, I turned around, looked at you, and said, "Okay, what's the matter?"
because I hadn't said anything.
Because you had yeah, because well, I
Yeah.
didn't need to. I could see the look on your face that something happened.
Well, it was the strangest
But we had
because
they did interact with us.
yeah,
That's the amazing part. It's never been investigated, but they interacted with us, even with our equipment.
they did. And
And
then,
that's yeah.
you know, I got I was not hit in the head, but my whoever was interacting with me was showing me their injury, and
Hmm.
he had fallen, and that was what was so weird because we had two people that are very familiar with that place, and we didn't know anything going in except that it was a beautiful,
Mm-mm.
wonderful museum and we were being allowed in.
Yep.
Oh my God, we were
Yeah.
allowed in, right? Thank you, Rick McCollum and
The
his
whole
friend
place.
Jay Craig. And, it was just
Yeah.
brilliant. And so I'm finally, because you were getting worried, and I finally
Yeah.
just thought, well, I'm going to have to acknowledge this. So
Hmm.
I looked over at them and I was like, yeah, meanwhile, I'm holding my head because I'm expecting to see blood. There's nothing
Yeah.
there. And I was like, has somebody been here who died from a head wound, like a pretty serious head wound?
Hmm.
And Jay Craig was like, well, but she looked at me and she was like, why, yes, a man fell down and struck his head. And I am not pulling her name out. Do you remember her name?
I
I know I
no,
just put you on the spot. You would have known if I hadn't asked.
yeah.
But,
I knew.
but
Yeah.
it was so bizarre
Yeah.
because she was like, yes, a man fell, he struck his head on the stairs, and um was it Burns?
Yeah.
No,
No. Um.
it was Scott, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Had the Writers Museum. Hello. Could have been anybody.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. But anyway, um she was like, yeah, so this man fell, struck his head, you know, terrible injury, and died from it. But his medical care was provided, you know,
Yes.
and so that's why he is still. But her face when I was like, because Craig did not know for
No.
sure,
No.
right?
Right.
Because he just kind of looked over at her
Hmm.
for her to tell me.
Yeah.
and the documents relevant to that were in the room behind us.
Yes.
And I was just like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Please,
much.
please back up.
Step away from the empath. But it was the coolest
Yeah.
pain because it wasn't really mine and it went away.
Yeah.
But that poor
But they
person.
interacted. That was the amazing part. Julie came in with her stuff,
Hmm.
her REM pod, and I had my REM pod and the cat balls.
Yes, the
And
cat balls were a hit.
oh yeah, I mean they were
Yeah.
just turning those on and off like crazy. But the basement, when we went downstairs,
Ah,
was, but they were asking for Rick to come back.
yeah.
And I just kind of laughed. I said, "Yeah, he makes an impression
Well, he
every
kind of
place he
does.
goes."
Maybe it's the size.
Could be.
Big guy.
Yeah,
Big
big
guy,
guy.
nice guy. Looks like he'd be scary, but not.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, for a place that has never been investigated, they picked up on how to do stuff and turn
Yeah,
stuff on and off and let us, answer us through the portal. Or I guess I had my necrophonic on.
you did.
And they, I mean, it was mind blowing because when Jade Craig said that it was had never been investigated, I'm thinking, well, they may not, want to interact with us, because we're different. We're, Americans, and
American.
yeah, and they may, go, no, we're not talking to them. But it was just the opposite. They were seemed to be pretty happy that somebody wanted to talk to them.
Well, I mean, they're in Edinburgh,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So, and you and I have both found that ghosts communicate somehow or
yeah,
another. There's a network because we've gone to locations and they knew us,
oh yeah, mm-hmm.
and that was weird.
Yeah.
To me, that's weird. I think it's weird, right? But
Yeah,
I'm not really sure what I think about that,
yeah,
but I think it's weird. So, it was so interesting because they did know what to do.
yeah,
And granted, we both explain equipment. We
yes,
both do that.
yes,
And Julie was so much fun.
yeah,
Okay, for those that don't know, our friend Mikey, and y'all seen him here, but his um, his wife was investigating for the first time.
yes,
Well, Julie discovered the K2. And oh my gosh, we were at Temple, which is up around Roslyn,
yeah,
not far from Roslyn. And it is an truly ancient ruin of a Templar church.
yeah,
And it's
truly.
called Temple. And
Mhm.
oh my God, you can see it on my Facebook page. I put some pictures up. I'm sure Lori has too. Rick probably has some. We all got off on Temple. It was awesome. But
Oh
Julie
yeah,
and I was getting somebody down by that creek, remember? I mean, the minute we got
oh yeah,
there,
hmm,
and Lee Dunn was down there with me. Lee Dunn is
hmm,
a great psychic from Scotland.
oh,
And you've probably seen him on many shows. He's just brilliant. And so I went and got
hmm,
him because I'm like, there is somebody right here. Can you tell who this is? And he's like,
right,
it's interacting with you. And I was like, but there's somebody there, right? I just need validation.
mhm,
And he's like, yeah,
right,
there's,
yeah.
huh?
Wasn't going. He wouldn't. Whoever it was wouldn't interact if all of us were there. So that's
No,
why I went back up to the where Rick and those guys were standing up there,
right.
and you and Lee were down there, and I'm thinking you've got a better shot at something interacting
Yeah.
when it's just two of you instead of four of us.
Well,
That
I did not, I had not taken my K2 out
Oh,
because I was running on me and with a camera.
right.
And so I'm just like, I think I had a voice recorder too. But usually I pick stuff up with my camera vocally
Mm-hmm.
also. But Julie was having really good results with her K2. And when I'm telling y'all that she discovered a K2, girl was on it.
Yes.
Okay. And she got interaction. We did not investigate at Culloden Battlefield
No, no,
because
no, no.
that is holy. You
Yeah.
cannot do it there.
No.
And it really is. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you do not do it there.
No.
But it was something to see her with me because she's getting little hits here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were getting ready to go, I went back down there and I'm like, bye. Thank you so much for interacting with me. Thank you for, coming to me. And I saw it.
Oh,
I
you did?
saw a form. I saw a form. I
Okay.
couldn't tell if it was male, female,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But I was just like, I really hope I caught that. you know, I really hope I caught that. So, that's one of the things that rocked my socks.
Well, the thing that when you were at Temple was when you had your what was it, the uh,
My thermal.
thermal, and you could see me and then you couldn't see me, and then you could see me
Yes.
and then you couldn't see me, and you kept
Yes.
having me step forward and step back and step forward, and finally I said, what's going on? And he said, well, you're there and then you're not.
I
I'm like,
know. And was it Julie or Rick that happened with also?
Julie, because you
Yes.
had her do the same thing.
Yes. And it's when we were up at the top of the hill
Yep.
of that the top like temple sits, and if you come down this way there's a creek, and if you come back this way
Yeah.
then it just kind of rises up. It's a gentle slope,
Yeah. I
and there
said,
are graves up
yeah.
there. There's
Yeah.
graves all through there.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah.
so when we were up at the top of the slope and
Mm-hmm.
Julie was using her K2, and we were all just kind of trying to figure out what was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I turned around and I've got Julie, but you're not there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, she's standing right there.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck?
Yeah.
So that's when I started having y'all move around, and it was coming and going and,
Yeah.
just all over the place. And
Yeah. It was
that
that.
was a very exciting place to be.
Yeah. Well, that Fair Maiden House. I
Also a virgin investigation.
Yeah, that was a first, and that was in Perth,
Hmm.
and we got access to it. And
Yeah.
Cameron, who the tour guide or the kid that
Curator. He's one of the curators.
curators, good kid, good kid.
Oh, wasn't he though?
Oh, he was such a
Yeah.
good kid. And yeah, I mean, we were downstairs and he was explaining everything, and then he went upstairs and we got to see the maps.
Hmm. Oh
But
my God. Maps from the 1700s.
yeah, it was amazing, the map.
Swinging. The whole place was swinging. Oh,
Oh
and the
yeah,
wall, the original wall,
yeah, the
they
medieval
had
wall.
preserved.
Yeah,
It was part of the stairwell, but the wall was
yeah, the original.
separate. It was not
Hmm. But
messed with.
I was downstairs when you guys all went up, and I
Yeah.
had Cameron turn everything off, so there was no,
No
uh,
EMF.
yeah, no EMF, and I had someone sitting beside me.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, I had a nice chat with them. I mean, they were happy that I was talking to them. It took a lot to figure out who it was, but I narrowed it down to it was a male. He was in his 20s. After about 50 questions, he was from the 1500s, and he had drowned in a flood back. I was trying to narrow down the date, but all I could get was 1500s.
Right.
Well, Perth was prone for floods anyway, and
Well, yeah. I mean, it's on a river, so the listeners know it's on a river. It
yeah,
is a harbor town,
yeah,
and
and yeah,
it's very prone to flooding.
he was very prone. And I asked him if they ever found his body, and I said, "Was your body found?" I said, "If your body was not found, light it up. If they never found your body, just light up the lights and let me know that they never found your body." And it hit all five lights. I'm like,
Right.
"Oh, I'm so sorry," because
That mattered.
yeah, I said, "I'm so sorry they never found your body." I mean, that's horrible. Um, but I said, "Do you like staying here at this place?" And hit all five lights. I said, "Do you like Cameron?" And all five lights came on.
Well,
So
how could he not?
yeah, I mean, that kid he was such a good kid. He was
He
so
was.
positive, and he was just so excited about the history, and
He
he
made it come alive.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, Rick said, "Did you record it?" I said, "Well, no." He said, "Well, then it didn't really happen." I said, "Well, maybe not on film, but I had the experience, and that's good enough for me."
It's what we were there for, were the
Yeah.
experiences. If we
Oh,
caught him on camera, even
yeah.
better.
Yeah, if you can get it on camera, that's great. If you can't, it's still the experience. But
Well, it
yeah,
still happened.
yeah, it still happened. At least it happened. I mean, I just asked him, I said, "Do you care if I go upstairs?" You know, I got to go upstairs because he was lighting the lights, answering questions. And,
Yeah.
you know, it was like, I got to go upstairs and see what my friends are doing. It was great
Don't
talking
you
to you.
feel when they're interacting like that and you know that they haven't had a conversation since
Oh,
God was a child? I mean,
yeah.
doesn't it make you feel like a heel when you leave?
Yeah,
I mean,
I felt awful because I
I
think
know, right? Because they seem
think
to be having fun.
yeah, it was like, "Oh my gosh, I got somebody that I can talk to, or I can,
Yeah.
not talk
Communicate
to,
with. Yeah.
communicate with, and answer questions and try to get my story across." Because I think, you know, dying in a flood and never finding the body,
Yeah.
that's,
That's significant.
yeah. I mean,
Definitely in his world. I
yeah,
mean, can you
yeah,
imagine?
yeah. So it was that Fair Maiden's house there in Perth was something for me.
And it's now a museum.
Yeah, it's a
So,
museum now. Yeah, and that's the first time that ever been investigated. That was
yeah.
another first there, and I was okay with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and, you know, I thought hauntings, hauntings and horror tour, is that
history,
right?
history,
History,
history, and
history and horror
hmm
tour and
Gary.
inland
Yeah, Gary
were
Lynn.
brilliant.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm going to tell you that do not go on some mysterious adventure that you're not going to get to experience anything on.
Mm-hmm.
Go on an adventure with somebody who is ethical
Mm-hmm.
and provides what they say that you're going to get.
Yep.
And that would be histories and haunting, horror and
History and horror.
history and horror. And
Yeah.
I don't know why that's an issue for me. And Lynn, Gary, I'm so sorry. But it was brilliant. We got to go to Castle Mingus. We call it Menzies, and
Yeah.
you've seen it on shows.
Yeah.
If you're not watching um,
Outlander.
Haunted Scotland
Oh, Haunted Scotland. Yeah.
or Outlander
Yeah.
or anything that gets you into these places,
Mm-hmm.
now Julie is an outrageous Outlander fan.
Oh
I
yes,
mean,
big time.
if Jamie had shown up, she
Mikey would
was
have been
going with
kicked
him.
to the curb.
He'd be kicked to the curb. Yeah. But I mean, and when we would go places, because Fraser is a common name there,
Oh yeah.
when we would go places and, she would see Fraser, she was like, is there a James? you know, but it was just so amazing to be able to see these places.
Mhm.
And, you know, Lori, when we got to, um, because I rode with Gary,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
when we when we got to the castle at Mingus, as we pull in, there's a field over to the left
Yep.
and the castle on the right in front of
Yep.
us.
Yep.
And I'm looking and it's yellow,
Mhm.
and there's, sheep going up a hill, and it's
Mhm.
like the quintessential Scottish countryside.
Oh yeah.
But Mikey said it as we were getting out. He was like, "Oh my God, we've just stepped into a picture."
Oh yeah.
And
Into
I'm
a
like,
paint. Oh yeah.
"We sure have." I mean,
Mhm. Oh, it
look
was.
at that.
Oh,
Look
it
at
was.
that.
Yeah.
And so it was one of the most, and I'm a photographer, and all I had was a camcorder and my phone. And I'm sitting there going, "Where's my Nikon? Oh my God." And I'm a beach girl. And, so for me, it was just kind of like, oh, I can't
Oh, it was.
stand it. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
It was. It
And
was breathtaking.
literally,
Mhm.
literally. And
Mhm.
the great big Scottish pines and
Oh yeah.
needles like as long as your forearm.
Oh yeah.
And I
Mhm.
mean, it was exquisite.
Oh, it was. It was amazing.
And to have Mingus sitting right in the center of that by
Mhm.
itself,
Mhm.
I mean, you could, there's houses, I mean, on the other side of the pasture, and then on the other side of the castle a ways away,
Yeah.
there's housing.
Oh yeah.
But it it has to look to an extent the way it did
Back in the
when
day.
the things were not there.
Mhm.
I've
Oh.
never seen trees that tall, and I've been to the redwood forest.
Mhm.
I mean, it these were old this was an ancient forest that we
Oh.
drove through.
Oh yeah.
It was just exquisite. I
Well, what about the ancient ruins we were at? It was it Rate Castle?
Great
The
castle,
yeah.
brilliant place. Oh
Yeah.
my God. That's
And
where we saw the coos, not at the castle, but yeah, we did see coos up there on that drive.
well, yeah.
Yeah. So
We
that was a good day. And it was a rainy day.
mhm.
I'm going to tell people that I had my Winchester House raincoat,
Yes.
and people thought that was I buy myself weird mementos, right? And I didn't want anything heavy, but I had to have something special
Yeah.
from Winchester House. I wanted it to be something I would use. And everybody thought I was crazy when I went and got the you thought I was crazy
Well,
when I went
it's
and got
price.
that raincoat.
Yeah, it was pricey. It was a slip.
But
Mhm.
it did the trick in Scotland, didn't it?
Mhm.
I
Well,
didn't
look what
get
I had to do.
Yep,
I went to the golf place and
yep.
got a raincoat,
You
and
can't
that
beat a
was
golf
the best
cup.
investment because my
Well,
other
you
one falling
ride
apart.
too.
Yeah.
You ride, and you needed that.
Yeah, I did. And
Although I was losing you after being used to the green one. So she
well,
brought a safety raincoat because it covered everything, and it did.
yeah.
It
Oh
was
yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah. Just the
So
inside of the lining was coming apart. So
yeah, it looked kind
wasn't
of like he'd been slashed up in one of Rick's movies. So
uh, his was a slasher coat.
yeah, it was fun. Oh, that's right. Well, yours was not slashed, but it did look like it probably wouldn't help you if you were trying to, fight Redburn.
Yeah, it would.
So it
Yeah,
was time.
yeah, it was time. But yeah, the other place besides Mangus, which was amazing, was the Bannockburn.
Oh yes,
Oh my
I
God.
still can't believe you're a murderer.
Well,
I'm not traveling with you anymore. Nor am I sleeping
Well,
when you're in the room.
we were supposed to originally on the original tour, we were supposed to go there and we didn't get to
Yeah.
go. It was canceled for
Well,
just the,
we didn't get to go anywhere.
well,
Right.
that's true. I
We
mean, the
did get
place
to
that
go
we,
to um chorus. We did
yeah,
go to chorus
and that
for
wasn't even
7 hours in a town that
hmm
has, you
yeah,
know, not what's there is magnificent,
yeah, but
but there's
still,
not 7 hours worth of
ours
stuff.
was ridiculous, and we had to pay for our own ghost tour. So, yeah,
Yeah, but we got Linda Whiteford.
yes, we did. God
Yeah,
love her.
buddy.
She was excellent,
Yeah,
and
she
Rick got
was,
to see his full bodied apparition. You know.
which was just off the chain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. But the Bannock burn, didn't you get stuff on your? Yeah, you did. You got stuff
I
on your
did.
thermal on that.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I had
And that,
thermal imagery.
yeah, and we saw movement or heard movement
Hmm.
off to that one side over there.
Yeah, saw it.
Yeah.
Well, I saw it on the thermal,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah. That was crazy. That was well. That and
And the fact that you murdered someone.
I apologized. It
They
wasn't enough.
weren't having it.
Yeah, they weren't.
Those rides were
Yeah. Nope. Nope.
nope, nope,
Nope.
nope.
Nope. I'm sorry. I don't care.
I was not the person. I'm not who I was then.
No, I promise.
Don't give a rat's butt. No. You're
That was
out.
crazy.
You're
And
out of
I
the friend league.
yeah, and they had some words come across. Somebody had like an obvious word thing, and there was some really like words that were coming across that fit the narrative. I went, wow, okay.
100% fit the narrative.
Yeah,
And
just like
I just couldn't believe, this is going to sound weird, but I just could not believe how adamant
oh,
after all that. I mean, because it had to be at least 500 years,
oh yeah.
if
Mm-hmm.
not more,
Or
right?
more. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And, you know, so now we know that spirits hold grudges. We do. We know that they do not forgive.
No,
And
he didn't.
you learned to quit asking if they if you look like somebody they damn know.
Or do you recognize
Y'all,
energy?
I have to tell on her,
Yeah.
okay? Because you can tell on me too. But she tell when we go somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
I
Sometimes,
would
not all the time.
9 times out of 10, she will say, "Do I look like someone you know? Do I remind you of anyone?"
Or do you
Well,
recognize my energy? Do
they
you
did.
recognize my energy? Sometimes I get a yes, sometimes I get a
This
no.
was a definite,
This was a definite. I've never had it
and
quite that definite before.
so that was the strongest
Yeah.
reaction to you I have ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. And we
Yeah.
have investigated in some really bodacious places.
Oh yeah.
We've investigated in some out of the way cool places.
Mm-hmm.
And this was it, girl.
Oh yeah.
This was it. This was, you found the Holy Grail. Rick found the Holy Grail while we were there too.
Oh
But
yeah.
that was your Holy Grail.
Yeah. That was something else. I mean, I don't think we got any of that on camera, but
On
I'll
yours?
never forget.
Yes, ma'am. We have yours on camera. I don't
Oh, you
know if
do?
I was,
Oh, okay.
and I may have been
Huh.
laughing some, but
Well, I'm
trying not to when it, so the camera may have been doing this, but it's there. I'm pretty sure it's
oh,
there.
good. Okay.
I haven't gotten
Yeah.
to that day yet.
Okay. Well,
So,
that's good. I didn't think anybody was filming because everybody was in shock with the rods. I mean, they were like, boom, they were crossing,
oh,
crossing.
I mean, you were so in trouble.
I was what I kind of went, wow. Oh, okay.
If they had been able to manage it, you would have been run through.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, there was no
Mhm.
doubt there was a lot of emotion involved in that conversation.
A lot of angst,
A lot of a lot of anger.
anger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
they
was not just, oh my gosh, that was,
yeah.
I will slice you and dice you and
Mhm.
let you feel this.
Yeah.
They
It
were
was
really, I mean, we're kidding a little bit, but they were
it,
really angry.
yeah. Whoever this
And,
was
you
angry.
know, where were we that I pissed off that ghost that time? The
Well,
jail.
the jail.
You weren't there yet. I mean,
No.
we hadn't started, but
Mm-mm.
when I was there and those spirits started banging those doors and everything, and I'm sitting
Mhm.
there, I'm
Yeah.
hearing doors and stomping and stuff, right? And
Mhm.
nothing's moving. I'm looking at doors that are the big iron cell doors
Mhm.
and hearing them bang and nothing's moving.
Mhm.
And that's kind of, except they weren't coming for me. I
Yeah.
think they would have come for you.
I think so too because it
Yeah.
was over a woman
Yeah.
and we got into a fight and I I don't know. Let I he was alive when I left him, but he died later. But
Yeah.
it was during a fight of some nature over a woman, and I think it was that rose that they were talking about,
Yeah.
and it was like, oh my, and I kept
It was
apologizing.
about time to go.
Yeah,
It was getting to that. I mean,
yeah,
it was really,
yeah,
that was a
yeah,
extreme,
yeah. It
extreme
really was.
experience.
Yeah, it was very disconcerting because I kept apologizing and they weren't having it. They didn't care. It's like,
Nope.
oh, okay. I said, I don't know what else I can do other than I am so sorry. You know, I I apologize. And they
Nope.
didn't care. Didn't make any difference to them. Nope. Not
Press,
happening.
press, press.
Yeah. Like, do you want me to leave? Yes. Get out.
Yeah.
Okay. Not
See
a
ya.
problem.
Don't let the door hit you.
Yeah.
That was, that was strong.
That was crazy. That was definitely one of the highlights other than Balgoni. I mean, like I said, I've never had anything experienced like I know it was for Rick, but I
Yeah.
have never experienced that much equipment
EMF.
going off all at the same time. I mean, it
Well,
was it was crazy.
yeah. Well, and the thing that got me was that, and for investigators listening to this, y'all may have had this happen. And if you have, I want to hear about it
Hmm.
because I think that this was so unusual. We're using a standard room, right? And we had K2s set up all around the house room, and we had
Hmm.
um, different tools sitting around.
Temperature temperature things,
Yes.
monitoring the temperatures and REM pot built into the temperature change. And
Yeah.
I had my DAW, I had the
Well,
cap.
we had Mikey's mill was
Yeah,
out.
yeah, millimeter.
I didn't take my mill, so
Hmm.
I think I just had, I think I was just filming
Hmm. And
in
your camera
there.
shutting off.
My camera shut off 5 times, 6 times,
Hmm.
6 times
I
for the
couldn't
full
believe.
battery.
Hmm.
And that was very frustrating.
Hmm.
So,
And I kept getting, like I said, before we even started, before anybody even got in there, I shut all the lights off and ran the K2 around just to get a baseline,
mhm,
just to see if there was any spikes or anything in the room
yeah,
before we got started, because that can throw everything off.
yes, it can.
And there wasn't any, there was no spikes anywhere. I did
I
top,
know.
bottom, all over the place. And when we started the investigation, we made sure everybody had their phones on airplane mode.
Yeah,
And then that first group that came in, it was everything just lit. I mean, everything.
Yep.
Kept saying, "Does everybody have their phones on airplane mode?" Because that's the first thing I think of.
Yep.
We're getting false positives because somebody's got their phone on. And,
Especially with that number of people in that small space.
yeah, and
But
everybody said they had them on airplane mode.
yep, the thing that got me though, Lori, and I think we agreed on this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I had never seen a rim. I mean, I thought it would explode. It looked like the 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 lights were going off, but it was like running up the antenna.
Hmm.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, that's
Something
way
had
too
a
close
hold
to
of,
my face.
yeah.
you know.
Well,
Um,
something had a hold of that. Had a hold of that rod.
yeah.
What it was. That's
And
the
it
only
was like
way.
climbing it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It.
that was my impression. When I
Yeah.
looked at the video, it didn't necessarily look, I mean, that was not what you got looking at it from where the camera was.
Hmm.
But when I'm sitting there looking at it, I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's not supposed to happen like that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand how it was coming from the lights and going up the rod.
Hmm.
And I still don't know because when I was writing my, because we all wrote a statement about that.
Hmm.
And when I wrote that, that's what I put was that, it was climbing.
Hmm.
It looked like fireworks. It did
Well,
look like fireworks. I've never seen a rim do that.
I've never seen a REM do that, and well, I have seen a K2 vary and make a
Yeah,
noise, and I've had that experience once at Shelley's at
yeah.
Spalding.
I
I
didn't
mean,
even know it was a K2.
it was a K2, and it was buried, and it was so strong.
Yeah.
And the one that Rick had in his hand was so strong, it was making noise.
It's
It,
like his hand was being shook.
yeah, I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, mine was going off because I was standing kind of over beside him off to the one side,
Yeah.
and mine was buried, but not as much as his was.
Yeah.
His was buried, and I just kind of went, whoa. And your camera kept shutting off,
Yeah.
and
Every few minutes.
yeah.
And that's what was so funny because I mean, the the battery was full.
Mhm.
Had a new memory card. There was nothing wrong with that camera and I've used it since. I used it more while we were there.
Mhm.
And, you know, I'm just sitting there and I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting back like this
Mhm.
with a camera.
Mhm.
And no, six in the video that Mikey shared when we were on with Ken DaCosta the other night,
Right.
it was 6 times that my phone, my camera cut off.
Yeah. It was
And
unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. I was
yeah,
just.
with a full battery, full charge.
Mhm.
So,
And it.
and it still had a full charge when we walked out of there.
Mhm. But it just
So
shut off.
it just, well, it was somebody who knew equipment, who knew how to get people's attention with equipment.
Mhm.
And when my camera stopped, it makes noise.
Mhm.
And it was every time ding,
Yep.
whatever the chime.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was wild.
Oh.
But
It,
oh my God, that rim, the EMF period,
yeah.
it was so bizarre.
It was. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Truthfully, it was.
Yeah.
And then the two or three groups that came after that, we
Not
didn't.
so much.
We did not have the activity. But the one thing that I kept having, because I Rick stayed over there where he was at, and I went to the room or the doorway where the shop was, where
Yes.
the laird was, and I kept running my K2 around that door, and sometimes I would get nothing,
Hmm.
and then other times I would get spikes
Yeah.
around that door. So I'm not sure what that meant, other than possibly the laird coming in and out. seeing what we were doing, and he'd go back into his shop. But
And so that people know, we were in a museum,
yeah.
a small one-room museum at Balgony Castle,
Hmm.
which you've also seen on Outlanders.
Oh,
And it wasn't even part of the main. It wasn't original to the castle. This area had been built a little later, still ancient.
oh yeah.
And but the Laird's workshop, he was a master leather worker and he was a carpenter and wood carver, and he built all of the doors, uh,
And carved them all.
carved all of the doors in the
Hmm.
castle, and they're beautifully carved. They're
Oh
great
yeah.
big oaken doors. Oh my God,
They're beautiful.
fabulous.
Yeah.
And so that was his personal workshop.
Hmm.
And the things in the museum, one of them was a model of Balgony that his son had made when he was
Hmm.
little, who is, and Stuart's now the Laird because Raymond passed away.
Right.
And so it was really a personal area. And Rick was his dear friend.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And so he showed up for Rick.
Yeah. I mean, I have no doubt that that's what happened. He wanted to let him know.
Yeah.
And Rick, when he
Rick felt
finally
like it was
realized who
probably
it
going to
was,
happen.
yeah, but when he finally
But
realized who it was, he
yeah,
was he was almost in tears. He was just so touched that
yeah.
he finally figured it out.
Well, we're all sitting there like, come on, catch up.
Hmm.
We know who this is.
Yeah,
Come on, my friend.
yeah. And I said
And
it
but
would
I didn't want to.
then be him because he knows how to use the equipment.
Yeah, that's
He
what
knew.
got Rick because he's sitting there saying, "Well, this is obviously someone who that," and he was like, "Oh, you know."
Light bulb.
And the the moment was so beautiful though because they really cared for each other greatly,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
and that was his
It,
friend.
yeah. I mean, there was a spiritual connection between those
There
two.
was.
They were
They
so.
had known each other before they met
Oh
here.
yeah, there had to been a previous time they were,
Yeah.
good friends, and it never stopped. And even through the millenniums or however long it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was quite, yeah, it was quite the event. I'll never forget it, that's for sure. Like
Well, it was like the
the
holy grail.
murderer, you know, I'll
Well,
never.
other than, you know, y'all both had really huge emotional things.
Hmm.
And as stoic as Mitch as Rick is,
Yes.
that was very emotional.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
And that was
It touched him, that's for
a
sure.
chance to say goodbye to his friend.
Hmm. Let him know I'm
Yeah.
still around.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
And
it was pretty amazing. And we did have other activity afterwards, don't get us
we
wrong.
did.
We
Yeah.
had the temperature, the mill behind us, it went off, you know, and it was kind of like a pattern. You could tell when something came in from
Hmm.
that side of the house or that side of the room because the temperature would go off, and then, things would light up over there, and but it didn't bury like the REM pod didn't
Yes.
bury, and the K2 didn't bury like it did the first time.
Well,
I
the
mean, we
first time, go ahead.
no, no, I was just it. The first time was holy mackerel. The K2 was. I mean, I even mine was buried. And it was like, I've never had that happen. And then he passed it around to other people, and they were getting some interactions with the other groups that would come in, they would come in and there would be, he would give them the REM pod, or not the REM pod, but the K2, and they would ask questions, and we were getting interaction, but nothing like we did that first time.
Do you know why? Do you know why?
Why?
Because when he was, that's when he was. I'm so glad you're here, Rick. It's so great to see you. Look what I'm going to do. Look what I'm doing. Check this out. Oh my God. Can you believe I can do this? I'm talking to you. And I think that energy is what, I mean, doesn't that sound like what we
Oh,
were saying? I'm
oh yeah,
goosebumping. That's right. I'm getting goosebumps everywhere.
yeah,
So I'm right.
yeah, yeah.
But, oh, legs are goosebumpy even.
hmm
But,
it was pretty
wow,
amazing.
it was, I mean, and because I'm sitting there looking at that, and especially when Rick would say, we didn't get that. I think it was Mikey the first time that said, we didn't get anything at all like that after the first group.
hmm
And I'm like, that's because he said hello.
Yeah,
I didn't want to say anything really,
right,
but
right, right.
but it was. I mean, he
Yeah.
had said his huzzah moment. Look at
hmm
me. I'm
hmm
here. I'm here for you. What do you think? Look at me. I mean,
hmm
it's just my cheerleader
Yeah.
blades. My daughters. I was not a cheerleader after a certain age, but I raised them. But it's so funny because we were all pondering, why wasn't there anything after the first group? Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't it wasn't that he wasn't still excited, but he had already let Rick know how excited he was. He was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
look what we're doing here.
Yeah, and
You
I
know,
can do the equipment. See, I can do the equipment.
I don't think I've ever been anywhere or in a situation where there was a ghost that was that excited.
That's true.
And I mean, they don't generally have a reason to be excited,
Right.
right? Because they've been there for a while. They've
Yeah.
seen, especially if it's in a public location, and Balgonia is.
Yeah.
Um, Not so much public, but people do come there,
Yeah. And they have it
and
quite
it's
often.
still a private home.
Yeah.
But what's wild is that no other researcher that's gone through there has had that experience either.
Right.
That was just for Rick.
That was just for Rick. Oh, I have no doubt. I have
Yeah.
no doubt. It was pretty evident since Rick was the
You
one
think
talking. It
it
was.
really
It.
was.
Yeah.
So,
It. Duh.
yeah. But I don't know. Between being with somebody who a ghost is partying to see and being with somebody who murdered somebody and was standing there next to me when that spirit was pissed off. Usually I'm the one they're pissed off at. So it
hmm
was nice to see a change. Okay.
Well, you
I'm the one that
take
makes
the
everybody
burden.
I
I take the burden off of you. It's okay.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Like, you don't even know. I appreciate that.
Oh my
But,
God.
I don't even know. That would be the top, probably the top of the paranormal activity that I've been involved in, that one experience. But
hmm
we've had so many experiences. We've,
Mansfield Reformatory. Are you kidding? That was crazy
that was
stuff we
crazy.
had going on there.
Yeah.
Sorrel
And
Weed.
that was when our friend Katie, saw her first
Yep.
shadow figure was at Mansfield too that night
Yep. For my birthday.
for your birthday.
Yep. Yeah. I
She
mean,
got your present. And it
well,
changed her.
that, and we
Right.
also did that one where I put the REM pod on the bench in
Oh,
the chapel.
that
In the
was our first time.
Yeah, that was the first time we went. Then
Yeah.
it wasn't Katie that was there; it was another lady.
No, it wasn't Katie. It was Wanda.
Well, yeah, Wanda. That's it.
Yeah, because we
And,
were there for an event with Stephen Tango.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And it was that was amazing. That was really shocking, especially when they did it on command.
that was bizarre, and that was one of those times that you're kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
thank
Oh,
you.
yeah.
We're tired. It's like the dude that was dancing with you on like that not that time for your birthday.
Birthday on the.
Mansfield, their spirits are just nuts.
Oh yeah.
They
He.
just go on and on and on. It's so
Yeah.
cool.
Well, when I was playing Elvis, I mean, it
That's
was.
what they love.
Yeah. They definitely at Mansfield like Elvis. They like when I play music. When I
They like you.
there, they know who I am. I haven't been there for a few years, but they've called my name several times when I've been in there.
Yeah.
And the last few times is when I rented it for my
Yeah.
birthday. You know, so yeah, we've had some.
I so appreciate you including me in that.
Oh yeah, you know that.
So I have so much fun investigating with you.
Well, the Soror Weed House. Hello, that was that
Yeah.
was insane. And Moon River Brewery. We've had a lot of stuff
We
happen.
have. We've been a lot of places, haven't we?
Yes, we have. I mean,
This.
what is it? Were you ever at Rhodes Hall in Atlanta?
Yes.
Okay.
We went to Rose. We were at Rose Hall together.
Mm-hmm. Rhodes
We
Hall.
and
Oh my goodness. Where
we
else?
weren't ever at that little decrepit hotel
No,
in
it was in
Red
Georgia.
Boiling Springs,
Yeah. No. Oh, Thomas House.
Thomas House.
Yeah.
There's actually an article about the Thomas House in one of the recent um, fake magazines.
Oh, okay. No, I've
So,
been to Thomas House one time, but you weren't with me. Christy
mm-mm,
was with me,
yeah.
and she was hiding under the covers. In fact, she crawled in bed with me. I had a cover.
The first time I went, David was with me.
Was
Because he was like, I don't know these people. I don't
yeah.
know anything about this. I'm going with you. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
And so he didn't want to investigate. So he's sitting in the upstairs parlor where the TV was,
Yeah.
watching a Braves game,
Mhm.
right? And I came upstairs to check on him. And there's a big, tall shadow man wearing a hat standing in the corner next to him. And I'm like, you good,
Okay.
baby? you know, are you okay?
Are you
It's
good?
like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just watching the game. I was like,
Okay.
not alone. I didn't tell him, but I'm like,
Gonna say, I hope you didn't tell
no.
him. Yeah,
And you
Christy,
know what
she
his
had
big bone of contention was?
what?
He was like, you can never come here again unless you bring your own smoke detector because these are crap. They're like skeletal. And I was like, okay, well, I'm
Okay.
bringing my own smoke detector when I go someplace. But I did from
Yeah.
that point on, and I had to put it in the highest point of my room.
Mm, there you
So I just, but you can't be in some place like that and not have a functional smoke detector
right.
because
Right.
that place would go up in a tinder box.
Oh yeah. It's so
And so
old, old,
if
old.
you go there, take your own smoke detectors.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
Please take your own smoke detectors.
Mm-hmm.
So, you
Yeah.
know, I just think that was an active place though.
Yeah.
I
It really was. I can't say that it wasn't.
mhm. What
Christy
did you think about the church?
happened to her. Something grabbed her shoulder and
And
something.
that's why she got in bed with you?
Well, I don't know. She was so scared. She had the covers over, and she put the chairs and stuff in front of the door. And I kind of looked at her. I said, they
That's
can
not gonna
they can walk through doors. And she
and
was,
furniture.
I know. So yeah, she was ready to get out of there.
Yeah.
I just said,
What did she think of the church?
um, I got poked the top of my hand was bleeding from it. She was she thought it was just a really weird energy in there.
It is a very weird energy
Yeah, just a
and
very
not in a good way.
yeah, and yeah, something literally poked me on the top of my hand, and my hand was bleeding. So I was not happy, and they knew it, you know. So I wasn't angry. I just said, "Don't touch me again," and they didn't.
Yeah. Well, that was a miracle
I
right
can.
then, right there, because I'm going to tell you, a lot of times you can think you're going to be doing that and happy about it.
Mhm. I just told him, I
They
said,
don't play very well.
"No," but I didn't get poked again, and my hand didn't. My hand stopped bleeding. So I just was very stern.
Yeah.
Christy was freaking out, you know, so it was all good. Like I said, would I go back there? No. I mean, I did it one time, that was enough. But
Well, that was enough.
I you weren't with me at St. Albans either. Albans, St. Albans. No, you weren't
No,
with
the
me.
only time I've been to St. Albans was when Christopher and Philip were filming a movie,
Oh,
and I went up there for that.
oh, okay. I
But
did it. I didn't get any activity. I mean, there wasn't, Doogie was there. Some of the race
okay,
chasers were there, and Duke was getting quite a bit of DR60 on
yeah.
voices coming across. But there were
Was he
people getting,
getting
oh
intelligent stuff?
yeah, yeah, about being buried. Somebody died, and whoever it was like ground up and put into the cement and mixed in, and it was kind of,
That might be gruesome.
yeah.
I
But he was
mean,
getting intelligent responses. Dude was. I was really shocked. I thought, wow. But there were people getting poked and prodded and stuff. But I also, before I go in, I usually say, surround me with white light. I don't want anything bothering my energy.
right,
And I didn't have any, you know, and that's when I was talking to Garrett a lot, and Garrett said, "You were
right.
completely surrounded by white light." He said nothing was going to go through that. I said, "Okay."
I have to tell you that I scared Rachel Beath and whoever the other people there to death, because we were in the library
Mm-hmm.
and we're getting I have hair everywhere, but we had a book and we were getting voices,
Oh.
and I didn't know because they were like, well, what is your name? And it said something, and I'm like, oh. I was like, oh, are you? Because I googled what they said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I if I'm not using a K2, I'm gonna have my phone recording,
Oh yeah.
right?
Right.
So I was like, well, I'm just gonna check out what this word was, and
Mm-hmm.
I looked it up. Well, it was a demon's name, and I said, oh, well, blah 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 is it's a demon,
Yeah.
and they were like, you said its name, and I'm like, I'm a Christian. I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
And I had my cross and I had
Yeah.
all yeah, I had blessed items on me. And I'm just like, I wasn't saying it with intent.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this is who that is.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
that's what that word was. It wasn't just a word.
yeah.
And so, but oh my gosh, I thought Rachel Booth was going to beat me to death because, I had invoked this and I was going to, and I'm like, no, I think we're okay.
Yeah. We're good.
But I do know that if you're not cautious with things like that,
Oh
you
yeah.
can have repercussions.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh
but
yeah.
that's why I'm protected.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
that's why I always say a prayer before I go in, especially if I'm because I've never been there,
yeah.
and
St. Albans was a trip.
I just I didn't know what this place was like. I heard a lot of negative things. So before I went in, I just asked, please surround me with white light, because you know how I am about energy.
I do.
I don't like anything in it. I don't want anybody touching it. Just leave it alone. You cannot have my energy like other people. Just like throw it out.
I know. And
And that,
then they try to give away your energy too. And I
yeah,
had
no,
real
no, no, no,
worried that
no,
somebody did that. And I'm like,
no,
I'm
no,
so sorry. That's mine. And I
yeah,
do not share.
nope. And I
And
don't.
that my energy is my shield.
Mm-hmm.
And no,
No,
there's
yeah,
plenty of electrical outlets here. There's plenty of light fixtures. There's other things that you can pull energy from.
yeah, not
Not
me.
me.
Not me. And I'm
And
so picky about that. Well, just like I told you the first time I just had a Reiki session,
mhm,
and I trusted, Mel, because there's a lot of Reiki people out there that I've ran into before that I
sketchy as all get out.
oh man, it's just like no. Nope. You cannot enter my you can't enter my energy field. It's like no. 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 And then, Shelly's going to do another event, I think in October, mid October,
Hmm.
where she's going to have the, you know, like witches thing where she's going to have Reiki, and she's going to do her runes again. Oh, the runes were pretty cool. She had
Yeah,
did a rune reading, and there's going to be, I guess, oracle and tarot, and there's a guy going to be there that's going to do sketches,
kind of
spiritual,
sketches.
yeah, spiritual sketches that what they see, and you can take the sketch home with you.
Oh, of your energy?
Yeah, or
Okay.
whoever is
Yeah.
around you. Yeah, and I don't know. She's got October's going to be a big event, and they're
Yeah.
going to have several vendors and stuff like that that have their have their stuff. But yeah, that's going to be in October. I helping her with that. So,
Right.
then the Halloween the Halloween parties be coming up too.
I wonder how close together those are going to be. Do you know?
Nah, I don't know. I haven't asked her. I can't remember.
But
But yeah.
because she knows how to throw a party.
Oh yes.
So,
Yes. She's a great cook. So,
oh my God. And she can feed masses.
oh yeah.
And
She's
for those that don't know, we're talking about Shelley Robertson, who owns the Old Potting
out in
Jail.
jail. Yeah.
And if you ever needed a caterer, I would I would recommend her.
Yeah.
She is brilliant.
Oh, she is.
So,
Mhm. Oh,
and literally for 100 people,
yeah. Oh
she
yeah.
can knock it out.
Oh. And then her and the alcohol on Halloween,
Uh,
hopefully. Well, uh, Vin-
multiple types of spirits up there.
yes, and then what is it? Vincent's karaoke machine, sing and sing and
That's the only time I've ever sang karaoke. And my favorite part was I'm from Alabama, in case y'all couldn't tell by my accent. And Alabama and Ohio State may have a bit of a rivalry,
just a small one,
just a small.
just a small one.
And so I went up to I went up to Vincent and I was like, "So, do you have Sweet Home Alabama on there?" And he was like, "I do." And I'm like, "I'm singing that."
Yeah, and you
Bear
did.
in mind, I can't sing. I can't carry a tune in a bucket. But
You sang.
I took the microphone and I was like, "Here, let me sing you the song of my people."
Yes, I remember.
And if you're from Alabama, you know what I'm going to say. And if
Yeah,
you're not from Alabama, you're going to just go, "That's rude." But when
well,
we sing
the year
Sweet Home Alabama,
what about the year before when you were on the Bronco?
oh, I did good on that. I stayed
Yes,
on.
you did. You did. You stayed on and you shot the arrow.
I did. But I have to tell people about my song
Oh yeah,
because when you're from Alabama and you sing that song, when you say Sweet Home Alabama, you say Roll Tide Roll.
yeah.
And I was in a room full of Ohio fans, and I was like, yeah, because we had won the championship that year. So that was fun.
Yeah, that
And
was
then I had to find a place to sleep because I couldn't sleep there.
no,
But I am very proud of staying on that bucking Bronco
yeah,
and for being able to shoot and stick
yeah,
the target.
yeah.
So
The bow and arrow.
I was Robin Hood in another life.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure.
That's my Scottish heritage coming through.
That's it.
But
It's
well, I've got to tell you that we've had some good times,
it's
good paranormal times, good wandering times. When we were at
mm,
Moon River together, we had fun there too,
oh yeah.
and yeah, and now we have better equipment.
Yes, we do.
Oh
Yes,
my
we do.
god, I love our equipment, and I really, really enjoy your skill with the SLS as much as I enjoy mine with the thermal. I think
Hmm.
that we get more stuff with your SLS than
Yeah.
Carter has little pills. When
Oh,
we were at Winchester House
oh yeah.
and you were getting that whatever creature that
Yeah.
was trying to cross the
Yeah.
window in the floor,
Yeah.
that
Try.
was just like, oh my God, it's so desperate to get over there. It can just walk around,
Yeah.
you know.
And
But
we had
it was
the
definitely
figures
trying to dig
in the
its way
window.
across there.
Yeah, and it was and whatever it was trying to get over to the figure that was in the window.
Mhm.
There was a figure in the window, and the thing was
Yeah.
sitting there trying to get over to the, I think, to the figure in the window that was dancing. There was a
Yeah.
figure, it was like,
Yeah.
holy mackerel, what is happening?
Well, it was, I mean, because it was really, it wasn't just a glitch. It
No.
lasted for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And, that's one of the things that when I wrote that article about the Winchester House for
Hmm.
Fate, that was one of the things I mentioned.
Oh
And it was really one of the coolest things I think that I've seen.
yeah.
I just,
Well, the
you do
stuff
good with your
in the
SLS.
ballroom, the stuff that I caught in the ballroom was really odd because it's
Yes.
only happened one other time, which was down in the basement at Old Paulding, but it mapped a circle up. There was like two or three circles that were up because you know me, I always
Mhm.
go up.
You
I never
do.
go straight in front of me. I always find them up in the corners or up is
They're
where I usually,
watchers.
yeah, they're seeing what we're doing. But I got like, and it doesn't map like um, dust. It doesn't map any of that
No, it's
stuff,
just the
that you see.
yeah,
Yeah. And there were
energy.
two, it was two balls, two circles. And it had to have been energy because it would go up and down and in through the room over top of the people that were standing crossed over
Mhm.
there. And it was what is, like I said, the only time I've ever seen that was down in the basement of the old Paulding jail. I've never mapped anybody else like that or
Right.
any circles like that. It was very, very bizarre. Well, just like Erith Castle,
Oh, yeah.
when we were when it was just us
Mhm.
over there, and I was capturing people sitting in or dancing in the chair in that bar room that
Yeah.
first, because we weren't allowed in there that second time. We weren't allowed to go into the bar room, but
Yeah.
there was something there. There was something
There
standing.
was something oh, I was in there. They were by
Yeah.
me. I
Mm-hmm.
remember that. I
Yeah.
remembered them being in there, but I forgot about
Mm,
being beside them
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
because you
it.
were like, "There's somebody dancing right." But they danced beside me when we were in that little room.
that little rotunda. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you
And that
figured
was when we all went in.
you figured out it was the dog.
Yeah, it looked like a dog.
Mm-hmm. Because it was
And
short.
dogs love me. So,
Yeah.
but it
Oh,
looked like kids when we were in that other room.
yeah. It looked like kids. And then when we were sitting in like where the chairs were, where they had the like wedding room or
Yeah.
whatever it was, I had something sitting a couple chairs up, and everybody else was behind them, and they were sitting there.
Yeah.
And there was, I mean, it was crazy. It was like, oh my, and they like they would stand up and
Wasn't that where you could not map Rick?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I couldn't map
And
Rick.
Rick is Rick McCollum for those that might not
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
But
Uh, it was 20. I could map everybody in the room because I was testing the camera out to make sure I
yeah.
could map, and I could map everybody in that room except him
Yep.
for like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And I asked him if he had his shields up. I said, "What is going on?" And I had something standing beside him,
Yeah.
some small thing that was standing beside his where he was seated, and I couldn't map him. I couldn't
Isn't
map
that
it.
weird?
That was the weirdest thing. I I said, "Do you have your energy shields up or your cloaking device on? What is that?"
Well, he actually um, had a situation where a Ring doorbell couldn't pick him up too.
Yeah,
So
that's
that
what.
was there is something about that.
I told him. I said, "You must have a different vibration." I said, "You're just different."
He is just different. And Rick, if you see this, we love you.
Yes,
We
we love
promise.
you. We
We're
promise.
just messing with you
Yeah.
greatly here
Well,
and there.
same thing to us
He would so do the same thing to us.
in a heartbeat.
He's a rascal.
Yes,
My husband trusts him and likes him, so yay.
yeah,
And my
that's good.
husband is a very good judge of character. So it's really funny
Mm-hmm.
because if I'm on the phone with Rick and David comes in, Rick's like, "Hi, David," and David's like, "Hi, Rick." So, which is the equivalent of the guy conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no
So,
kidding. But yeah, I mean, you and I have been to a lot of places through the years. I think what we've been friends for 8 years, 9 years,
yeah,
something like that,
8 or 9.
8 or 9. And
So
well, the first one was Titanic.
that's where we met.
Mm-hmm. And we were at the same table.
We were the only people that were not working for that company that were dressed,
Yes.
not dressed, that were appropriately dressed for the event. So I was in a ball gown and you were Molly Brown.
Yes, I was. Had the big hat and gloves and everything else.
Yeah,
Saw a lot of
you were
shadows.
magnificent.
It was something.
Yep.
You should have seen the look on people's face when I left the hotel to go there.
Well, I got that too because people were like,
What is happening?
"Where are you going?" I was like, "Titanic Museum." So that was fun.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was the first time we met.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And something
And
clicked. We've been friends ever since.
we have been good friends ever since. We were
Mm-hmm.
good friends when we started.
Oh yeah. Oh
We've
yeah.
definitely been together a few lifetimes, as
Yeah,
you found out when you had your past life reading.
that's true. Yeah.
So,
You and Karen.
yep,
Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling that Karen made sure we crossed paths. So
yeah,
since she had passed on, I'm
yeah.
sure she knew that I needed somebody.
And God help you, she sent you me. She did have a sense of humor.
She did.
But what's funny is we are so, in so many ways, opposites.
Yeah.
I mean, like polar
Oh
opposites.
yeah. Polar
And
opposites.
then the things that, because you're very da 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 da, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we bring each other's um,
We balance each other.
We do balance each other, but we do it in a way that's very positive.
Yes.
And even when we're tired and grumpy and just need to yell at somebody, it's very rarely each other.
Yeah. Very
So
rarely.
I can't really think of a time that it's been there, but I'm sure there's been one or two,
Well.
but just not that I can think of.
Mm-mm.
And, it's just like we're always each other's biggest cheerleader,
Oh yeah.
even if we're exasperated with something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, we've been through a lot.
Yeah.
We've been through a lot of things and helped each other with them, I hope.
Yes. Yes. And we've had
So,
a lot of knight and shining armors to
yeah,
help. So Jay and Rick and uh,
brilliant. Oh, and Joe
Joe.
Smiley, who was the manager of the hotel that saved us when we were abandoned by our tour
Yep.
and dumped
The,
in a dive
yeah. Bed bug ridden hotel.
in a blue light district.
Oh man.
It's the red light
Red light
district.
district. Yeah, that was.
And, so bad that the manager of the hotel that we were supposed to have had rooms in told Rick and Joe Bloomkey, tell them to get in a cab and come here now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we did.
We did, and they saved us.
They did save us.
Hmm.
So, which is why Joe Smiley got a big night, and Jay and Rick got the ones that I had
The
then.
ones.
And Natalie needed one too.
Oh yeah.
If I'd had enough, Natalie would have had one too.
She.
So
Yeah.
she went to the mat for us.
Yes.
And I cannot tell y'all often enough that I've been very polite and very kind by not naming the proprietor of the tour company that threw us in the river
Yeah.
and tried seriously with no concern for our safety, health, or well being,
Mm-hmm.
um, really did abandon us in Kilcarney,
Mm-hmm.
Kirkcaldy. We were
Kirkcaldy.
in Kirkcaldy,
Yeah.
um, Scotland,
Yeah.
away from our group
Mm-hmm.
with nothing but Facebook to get in touch with anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they went merrily back into Edinburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that I don't talk about very much,
Mm-hmm.
but that was Mysterious Adventure Tours.
Mm-hmm.
And I will just say that I would never go anywhere with them again, nor would I give them any money because nothing was delivered that we were promised.
Yep.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, now I've said it. That needed to be said. And,
Yeah.
nobody cared when they threw us in the river like that.
Yeah.
So I don't think I care about telling people that that's what they did.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They.
It's a fact. It's documented. We have so many um, letters of people that we turned over to our attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous that people can that feel like they can do things like that with impunity.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. Bad does not bring good.
Mm-hmm.
Although it did really strengthen a lot of friendships. you know,
Yes. It.
the evil brought about good
Yes.
against its
Mm-hmm.
own will.
Yeah. It
So
was. And she's still doing tours.
I know.
I couldn't believe it, but
Well, if you're going to start out and do your first tour, the people I would piss off are, you know, Rick McCollum, Kat Hobson, and Jay Bloomkey, right? It's like, what are you doing?
yeah. And Kathleen Burns.
Oh my God.
You know.
Oh my God.
You know,
Yes. And
it's
that's not everybody. Those
no,
are just the yeah.
yeah,
Go after the founders of Ghost Hunters, right?
yeah. It's what,
Take them down.
yeah. Let's
So, because I want to do paranormal stuff.
yeah.
So I'm going to just take them out. Ah, what an idiot.
Well,
Oh, what a truly bad human being.
yeah, and
So,
for a lot of negative things. So I don't think she's improved her abilities much. So,
well, the thing is that you can't do ugly and you can't do harm and not know that that's going to come back on you.
mm-hmm,
It's just like when you do good.
mm-hmm,
You know, you have to live with the energy and you have to put out the energy that you want to receive back.
yep,
And if we were not the people we are, we're both really not always like that.
no.
But I had to think about that for a
Well,
minute
we had
because
her off the ledge a few times.
well, we brought each other down.
Mm-hmm.
When one of us was about to take her head off, the other
Yeah,
one got everything situated, and
yeah.
vice versa. But the beauty of it though was that the the people that she was the worst to were the people that became the best friends.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
we were already there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we had just met the others.
Yep.
Well, Rick was part of our group too.
Yeah.
But you know, it was like she was the thing that gelled the whole group. She was her bad behavior
Yeah.
brought us together in such a way that we knew that we were responsible, that we knew that we were strong and kind
Mm-hmm.
and caring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we would never have abandoned two women in a town they didn't know, in a hotel that was a dive and smelled bad and had bed bugs
Mm-hmm.
and was known to be in a red light district.
Right.
I mean,
No matter
you don't do
what said-
that.
no matter what she said about the reviews, even I could figure out when I got off the bus that this was a sketchy place and we shouldn't be here.
Yeah. And
But
Kathleen walked in and walked out.
mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. And she said that they had already had that. And yet people watched her trying to get that room paid for before we walked in.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. But we are
There.
past time.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to swipe this negativity off the board. We're going to say that what goes around is something that
Mm-hmm.
our energy stopped it.
Yep.
Our friends' energy stopped it.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we had rooms at the hotel we paid for,
Mm-hmm.
and she did not, although she tried to take our rooms,
Yes.
was justification
Yep.
and validation. And so we're not going to bring her negativity into our world. But I did want people to know that that was a thing and that happened. And
Mm-hmm.
I've never talked about who that was.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have, to a degree.
Yep.
And you know what? If somebody doesn't like it, you'll just have to come at me,
Mm-hmm.
because nothing I said was false.
Nope.
And I still have all the documentation
Me
and
too.
will always have all the documentation.
Me.
So that's just the way that rolls.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, again, I'll be at Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. I'll be in Gettysburg tomorrow afternoon if Delta plays nice. I don't know.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So, at some point, people, y'all will see me in Gettysburg. I hope that you're there. If you are, I'll have a table. Come find me. I will have Fate magazines galore. I have some other little things that I'm bringing. And We'll see.
Yeah.
So, see if you like them. I found a new tool to investigate with, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it works.
And it
I
worked.
can't wait. And it's old school. It's as old school as I go. So, anyway, for everyone listening, thank you so much. You're the reason that we do these shows. I know this is a little bit different, but you know what? If you do good, good happens. And if you are a pets, I don't hang out with you. So, you, my friend, are not a pets. I love you.
Love you too.
And good night, everybody. See you next time. Same cat time, same cat channel. Good night.